The Boeing 747 shuddered, its massive frame battling against the fury of Typhoon Zhangsain. The storm was relentless, a monstrous force of nature that seemed determined to bring the aircraft down. The passengers inside could feel every jolt and shiver, their anxiety mounting with each passing second. Rain lashed against the cockpit windows, obscuring the runway lights in a dizzying blur. The visibility was near zero, making it almost impossible for the pilots to see anything beyond the sheets of rain. The airport runway, usually a beacon of safety, was now a treacherous path fraught with danger. Inside the cockpit, tension crackled, palpable and urgent. The pilots were seasoned professionals, but even their extensive training couldn't completely quell the fear that gripped them. Every decision, every movement was critical, with lives hanging in the balance. Captain C.K. Fu, a veteran pilot with thousands of hours under his belt, wrestled with the controls, his brow furrowed in concentration. His experience was invaluable, but the storm was testing the limits of his skills and the aircraft's capabilities. The co-pilot, equally focused, monitored the instruments, ready to assist at a moment's notice. This was no ordinary takeoff. This was a fight for survival. The engines roared as the plane struggled to gain altitude, battling the fierce winds and torrential rain. Every second felt like an eternity as the aircraft clawed its way into the stormy skies. Moments later, a deafening crash ripped through the night. The sound was a horrifying mix of metal and concrete, a brutal reminder of the fragility of human endeavors against the might of nature. Metal shrieked against concrete, the horrifying symphony of a disaster unfolding. The once majestic aircraft was now a twisted wreck, its parts scattered across the runway like a grim jigsaw puzzle. Singapore Airlines Flight 006, bound for Los Angeles, was no longer a symbol of sleek efficiency soaring through the sky. It had become a tragic testament to the unpredictable and often merciless nature of flight. It was a mangled wreck, ablaze on the tarmac of Chiang Kai-shek International Airport. Flames licked at the remains, casting an eerie glow over the scene of devastation. The date was October 31st, 2000. A night that would be forever etched in the memories of those who survived and the families of those who did not. What should have been a routine flight had descended into a nightmare, claiming the lives of 83 souls on board and forever etching the flight number SQ006 into the annals of aviation tragedies. The loss was profound, a stark reminder of the perils that come with air travel. This is the story of those lost souls, of pilot error and unforgiving weather, of investigations and repercussions. The aftermath saw a thorough investigation, aiming to uncover the sequence of events that led to this catastrophe and to prevent such tragedies in the future. It is a story that serves as a stark reminder of the delicate balance between human judgment and the unforgiving forces of nature in the relentless pursuit of flight. The lessons learned from this tragic event continue to shape aviation safety protocols, ensuring that the skies remain as safe as possible for all who venture into them. The atmosphere at Singapore's Changi Airport was one of normalcy on that fateful day. The hustle and bustle of travelers moving through the terminal, the announcements echoing through the halls, and the general sense of anticipation filled the air. Passengers, a mix of nationalities and purposes, checked in for Flight 006, their minds occupied with the journeys that lay ahead. Some were returning home, others were setting off on new adventures, and a few were simply traveling for business. Among them were seasoned business travelers, excited families embarking on vacations, and hopeful students pursuing dreams abroad. Each passenger carried their own stories, their own hopes and dreams, unaware of the shared fate that awaited them. The Boeing 747-400, a workhorse of the skies, stood ready, its gleaming exterior masking the mechanical beast within. This aircraft, known for its reliability and strength, was prepared to carry its passengers across the vast expanse of the Pacific, Little did anyone know that this seemingly routine flight would soon transform into a desperate struggle for survival. The calm and routine of the airport would soon be replaced by chaos and fear. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, Typhoon Zhangsain was gathering strength, its swirling eye a harbinger of the destruction to come. The storm was a powerful force of nature, building in intensity as it moved across the ocean. The storm, packing winds of up to 75 miles per hour, churned its way across the Pacific, its trajectory set on a collision course with Taiwan. The typhoon's path was unpredictable, but its potential for devastation was clear. Unaware of the brewing storm, Flight 006 pushed back from the gate and taxied towards the runway, the hum of its engines a familiar lullaby of modern travel. The pilots and crew were focused on their pre-flight checks, ensuring everything was in order for the journey ahead. The passengers settled into their seats, their anticipation tempered by the routine of air travel. Some read books, others watched movies, and a few simply gazed out of the windows, lost in their thoughts. The calm before the storm was deceptive, masking the imminent danger that lay ahead. As Flight 006 climbed into the night sky, the passengers settled in for what they thought would be a routine journey. Little did they know, a fierce battle with nature awaited them. Typhoon Zhangsain was unleashing its fury upon Taiwan, with winds howling and rain lashing down in torrents. The island was in the grip of one of the most powerful storms it had seen in years. Chiang Kai-shek Airport, the plane's intended stopover, was shrouded in a curtain of torrential rain and howling wind. The visibility was near zero, and the conditions were deteriorating rapidly. The storm's fury was evident in the flickering runway lights and the frantic activity of ground crews battling the elements. They worked tirelessly, trying to keep the airport operational despite the relentless onslaught. Inside the cockpit, Captain Fu and his crew received weather updates acknowledging the severity of the typhoon. They knew the risks but were determined to press on, hoping to navigate through the storm's outer edges. However, with a desire to stay on schedule and a belief that the storm's worst was passing, the decision was made to proceed with the stopover in Taipei. The crew braced themselves for a challenging descent. The 747, now a tiny speck buffeted by the storm's outer bands, began its descent towards Taipei. The aircraft was tossed around like a leaf in the wind, struggling to maintain its course. The turbulence intensified, the once placid cabin now a symphony of creaks and groans as the plane fought to maintain its course. Overhead, bins rattled, and the seatbelt signs flashed insistently. Passengers gripped their armrests, some with white knuckles, their earlier excitement replaced by a growing unease. The reality of the storm's power was sinking in, and a tense silence filled the cabin. Amidst the chaos of the typhoon, a critical miscommunication was unfolding. Air traffic control, battling communication disruptions caused by the storm, cleared Flight 006 to take off from runway 05L. However, due to ongoing construction, a portion of that runway was closed, marked by a large illuminated X. Whether it was the blinding rain, the fatigue setting in, or a lapse in communication, the pilots of Flight 006 lined up their aircraft on the wrong runway, 05R, the one partially closed. The stage was set for disaster. At 11:18 p.m. local time, Captain Fu pushed the throttles forward, sending the 747 hurtling down the runway. The plane, heavy with fuel for the Trans-Pacific leg to Los Angeles, struggled to gain speed in the driving rain. As the aircraft approached the closed portion of the runway, the pilots realized their error, but it was too late. The impact was horrific. The 747, traveling at over 160 miles per hour, slammed into a massive concrete barrier and a large piece of construction equipment. The force of the collision tore the plane apart, scattering debris and bodies across the rain-lashed tarmac. The fuselage, ripped open like a discarded toy, erupted in flames. The smell of jet fuel and burning metal filled the air, a ghastly testament to the carnage. Amidst the wreckage, a handful of survivors stumbled out of the mangled metal, their clothes torn, their faces contorted in shock and horror. As the dust begins to settle, the true extent of the damage becomes evident. Communities rally together, helping each other through the aftermath. It's a time for rebuilding, both physically and emotionally. People are trying to make sense of what happened and how to move forward. It's clear that the road to recovery will be long and arduous, but the spirit of resilience is palpable. With the immediate crisis over, attention turns to accountability. Who is responsible for this catastrophe? Fingers are pointed and accusations fly. Government agencies, regulatory bodies, and private companies all come under scrutiny. It's a complex web of responsibility, and sorting through it is no easy task. The quest for answers is relentless, driven by a need for justice and a desire to prevent such an event from ever happening again. In the wake of tragedy, there are always lessons to be learned. This incident is no different. Safety protocols are re-evaluated and new regulations are put into place. It's a somber reminder that progress often comes at a high cost. The hope is that these changes will make future incidents less likely, saving lives and preventing heartbreak. It's a painful process, but one that is necessary for growth and improvement. As time goes on, the changes start to take effect. Air travel becomes safer, and the lessons learned from the tragedy are integrated into everyday practices. There's a cautious optimism that such an event will not be repeated. The sky, once a symbol of freedom and adventure, now also stands as a testament to human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of safety. The journey is far from over, but the path forward is clearer than ever.